proper strategy is basically useless without the discipline required to implement it with consistency. Let's take an in-depth look back at the 2016 Masters and see if we can learn anything from what Jordan Spieth did in the final round. This is actually a great video I found on YouTube where they've got the dialogue right up here, and you can see them, for starters, saying, split those two bunkers. Let's take just a quick second to go back to my packet that I create for my players for the Masters, and you can actually see when they say split those two bunkers, this is what they're talking about right here, which is actually slightly more conservative than they really need to be. But with a couple shot lead, I totally agree with their play. What's interesting here is because of the shape of the green and the left to right tilt of your shot pattern, it's really a pretty hard hole for right-handed people because your flares are just in a really bad spot. So it is imperative that you commit to the center of your target and then just try to fire your shotgun at it. But as you're going to hear from Jordan, that is not what he did. And now let's listen to and read the rest of what they say. Right there at the camera, and it's a stock shot. Like they just said right there, the camera they're talking about is about 20 feet left of the flag. So you heard them picking their target, and it was just a stock shot, splitting the two bunkers. And then let's go listen to what actually happened in his post-round interviews.
I just didn't take that extra deep breath. You know, Michael said, hit it right here, hit it right here. And I remember just getting over the ball thinking I'm just going to go ahead and hit a little cut to the hole, and that's what I did in 2014, and it cost me the tournament then too. That was the right club, it's just the wrong shot. You know, I was more comfortable hitting a draw with my irons, and I knew that every time I had played fades this week, that shot kind of came out, and you know, I just, at the time, you're going to throw all bad swings away, and you're just going to focus on how confident you can step into that shot, and that's what I did, but the swing just wasn't quite there to produce the right ball flight. So, you know, ultimately, I should have just played a draw on that hole. Just lack of discipline to hit it over that bunker coming off of two bogeys instead of recognizing that I'm still leading the Masters by a couple shots.
Jordan and Michael selected the perfect target, but then Jordan didn't use the discipline required of Decade in order to implement it. So how could Decade have helped him? Well, distance. First thing you have to know is how far are you. 155 is how long that shot is. E, expectation. That hole plays with a 3 and change scoring average. C, correct target. We use our 150-yard baseline number. A, analyze. That means all the variables going on around, which means a little bit of swirling wind, a little bit of water on the right. D, discipline. That is what Jordan missed out on right here. And then E, execute your shot. So how in practice do we use Decade to simplify and codify the decision-making process and then be able to attack our targets, as Tiger Woods would say, by playing aggressively to my spots? Well, what's my spot in this situation? Since this is just a free version of this video, I can't really give away the actual Decade math. It wouldn't be fair to the people that paid the money, but what I can tell you is that your target would be about 11 yards from the edge of the screen. So if I right click here, measure distance, come across about 33 feet, which is 11 yards, scroll back, find the tee, go back forward, scroll in, and complete this to see, look at that, right about where Jordan said that they were aiming it, or should have been aiming it. And then he stood over the ball, and instead of taking that line just inside that edge of the bunker, splitting these two bunkers, he got into it and just said, if I can just fade it over there towards the pin, all the better. That is not how the game works. You have to be patient like Tiger. And I'm making this video so that way you understand this isn't easy. Winning golf tournaments is a hard thing to do. You have to practice the discipline in order to go out and implement proper strategy correctly. Because let's listen again to what Jordan said the day before the Masters started in 2016. This was his interview right before he was about to make that fatal mistake.
It's more the internal stuff that is trickier for me, and the only way it affects my golf is if I'm on the course and you know, in a tournament round, and I feel like I'm giving strokes away, and therefore I make an aggressive play that's unnecessary. And that's the kind of stuff that, fortunately, this golf course I feel like I have such a knowledge of this golf course that I'm always playing to a certain spot, maybe away from pins, that even if I want to make that kind of move, I won't. Kind of seems like that's been the case the last couple of years, so hopefully this week, we kick it off similar to last year. But that's where it affects my game in a negative sense, and I lose shots, is an internal, okay, I need to start making up ground now, instead of, you know what, I've got all the tools here. My tools that I have right now, I know can beat everybody if I just let them kind of come out. And obviously you need the right breaks, you need the putts to fall, but giving yourself enough chances and not kind of short-sighting yourself or making that dumb bogey or double after you've made a couple birdies, trying to do too much. That's what's really affected me recently, that I think this week I'll really focus on dialing back on.
The best way to learn is from the mistakes of others, or yourself. Hopefully you can take what Jordan did here, though, and not make that same mistake for yourself. When you pick a target that is based off of decade, commit to it, and then try to hit the ball there. All he needed to do was trust that his shotgun could have shots finished in the right side of his distribution, but that's not the goal. By the time he's over that ball and he has shifted mentally his target over to the hole, that means that the short right portion of his distribution is now in the water. That short right portion of his distribution should have been the shot that was actually close to the hole. Learn from others.